New Zealand election, the 7th of November 2026. Who are you going to vote for? Hi, I just popped in to say hello. Forget mainstream media outright, especially their mostly fake and biased political polls. Let's simply focus on the facts and, most importantly, the genuine bigger picture for Kiwis. Here are the real, indisputable facts. Let's dive deeper. National Party offers a strong focus on economic growth, deregulation and infrastructure delivery. Appeals to voters who favour business-driven productivity and fiscal conservatism. National policies are aimed at lowering taxes, encouraging investment and rebuilding the country. Basically, if you work hard, you'll get the rewards, but if you're a slack arse, then best you emigrate to a place far, far away. Perhaps a bit too slow in ridding the country of racist legislation, but are, nonetheless, very competent on economic management and fiscal discipline. In essence, the party provides stability and focuses on growth, but they need to get rid of systemic racism a lot faster. Rip the band-aid off quickly. The faster the treatment, the better the recovery. The slower the care, the greater the damage. Scribble-faced iwi extortion blackmail gangs need to go far, far away. Labour Party promotes increased taxation, government spending and regulatory hassles, which ultimately creates economic inefficiencies, higher national debt, increased costs for businesses and far too slow delivery. Heavily promotes the Maorification of New Zealand, a party still reeling from the extensive damage they caused to the country and its people at the hands of Ardern and Hipkins during the COVID-19 era, lest we forget. Party leader Hipkins still remains a man of very questionable moral standards, a party full of false or misleading promises and lies, and full of slow, inefficient, overspending bureaucracy. No longer a party for the workers, and no longer a party anyone can trust. In essence, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Labour's heavy focus on free services, like 3 free GP visits, will cause an influx of patients into the primary healthcare system, and without an influx of new doctors, then GP availability will take a major turn for the worse and clinics will become super overcrowded. Guess which freebie gravy train ethnicity will be blocking the doorways? Green Party. Their proposed economic policies of wealth taxes and strict carbon regulations will cripple business investment, reduce GDP growth and cause capital flight. Their policies are far too idealistic and costly, especially around questionable rapid climate transitions. Likely to be a wasted vote as their policies are highly unlikely to be implemented. They talk a lot about the planet and people, but their talk is cheap and greatly hypocritical. Fans of Hamas terrorism, child sexual perversion, and males masquerading as females in women's sports and private spaces. Another party that line their own pockets at the expense of ordinary working people. In essence, they are scam artists on $200,000 a year salary plus $100,000 a year expenses. The ACT Party, champion of classical liberalism, free market economics and individual liberty, aiming to aggressively cut government waste, lower flat taxes and slash red tape. ACT will appeal to voters who want less regulation and more personal responsibility. They actively promote the complete removal of race-based policies from New Zealand legislation. ACT say that Kiwis should all be treated equally across the board, based on need, not race. In essence, ACT are brutally clear in their vision for New Zealand, consistent and principled on small government, lower taxes, individual freedom, and bringing a rapid end to the cancer of systemic racism that permeates throughout the country. A party that actively promotes equal rights, having one law for all. New Zealand First, a nationalist populist check on rapid change, focusing on regional economic development, strict immigration controls and protecting traditional New Zealand industries and values. New Zealand First typically act as a moderating force in coalition governments. They fiercely promote the one nation, one flag, one people, one law unity mantra for all Kiwis and only citizens should be allowed to vote. The party has a great affinity with the elderly. Winston Peters is a very unique and highly regarded, skilled politician of old who cares deeply for New Zealand and genuine Kiwi citizens. Foreign impostors full of disruption should go home. To Pāti Māori, a racist group of activists trying to divide New Zealand and the electorate to create a parallel governance structure which will undermine democracy and ultimately destroy New Zealand. The Māori electoral roll and Māori seats are likely to be abolished next term. Another wasted vote when all's said and done. A destructive political party with associates who do very little, if anything, to actually assist New Zealand's Māori population, yet they manage to feather their own nests exceptionally well. In essence, they betray their own people. The party's hierarchy border on criminal behaviour. Allowing the freebie Māori seats to remain in Parliament after MMP was a disgraceful betrayal of New Zealanders by the country's elected politicians. The Opportunities Party, TOP, lacks any form of parliamentary track record or viability, highly likely to be a wasted vote regardless of whether they cross the MMP threshold or otherwise. TOP will never be allowed to implement their policies or influence major legislation. A wolf in sheep's clothing whose policies will exacerbate the people flight from New Zealand and hinder Kiwis returning home. TOP are a fast-track success story to Venezuela, spearheaded by a pretty face. They will tax every hard-working Kiwi into oblivion. A left-bent, woke mainstream media darling with extreme do-as-we-say, not-as-we-do hypocrisy. A classic example of deep-rooted communism. Let's make everyone a beneficiary. You will all have nothing, and you will all be happy. TOP are nothing more than mainstream media headline grabbers. In essence, a waste of print space. Who am I going to vote for? I'll keep the actual party close to my chest, but I will tell you who I'm not going to vote for, in case it's too hard for some to work out. I'm not going to vote for Labour or the Greens or Te Pāti Māori or the Let's Turn New Zealand into Venezuela party, the Opportunity Clown Show. Ideally, I'd really like to be able to vote for a preferred coalition combination, but that's not possible, so it's one of the top 3 winners for me this year. Either ACT, New Zealand First or National. But hey, if you're a low IQ loser and a time waster, then you're lucky, because you've got top 4 losers to choose from. Lucky you. Make New Zealand great again. One nation with one democracy, one system, one people, one vote, one law, one flag, and one rugby side. Better is possible. New Zealand definitely needs to get rid of racism if we want a better country. Then guess who the real winners will be? Get rid of the gravy train. Take care and have a great election day on the 7th of November 2026. If you're in the country's top 3, then you're a winner. Thanks for listening. WhangāreiTim.